Okay, so practicing basically the same stuff we did yesterday. We're talking about finding length of line segments. So here I want to know the length of EF. So the whole thing from E to F. Okay, you can see that EF is split up into two pieces. ED is 1.2, DF is 1.9. So how could I find the length of that whole thing EF? Yeah, just add them together, right? Should be pretty simple. Just add 1.2 plus 1.9. And what do you get? You get 3.1 centimeters. Okay, number 2. Did problems like this yesterday. So I want to find x. Okay, so somehow I've got to set up an equation here to find the value of x. So remember what we talked about yesterday was like this. Like if you take AB and if you add BC to that, if you have AB and you add BC, what do you get as a total? AC. You get AC. Right, you take the two smaller pieces, add them up, and when you add them up, you get the length of the whole thing. So how long is AB? Okay, from A to B, okay, is just X plus, how long is it from B to C?
2x.
Right there is 2X. And then how long is AC? Right here, the whole thing from A to C is 2x plus 5. All right, then from there it's just algebra. All right, so on the left-hand side, what do we get? 3x, so that equals 2x plus 5. Right, all I did was just combine like terms on the left side, x or 1x plus 2 is 3x. Then what do we do?
Move the 2x to the other side.
Yep, move 2x to the other side, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, that way these zero out. And 3x minus 2x is 1x equals 5, x equals 5. Okay, so we did this part so far. We found x, but what else is it asking for? It's asking for AC. So as I look here, AC, it says it's 2x plus 5. What's keeping me from knowing how long AC really is?
X.
The x is what's keeping me from that. But do I know what x is now?
Yes.
Yep, I know it right there. I know that it's 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 5 right there. So no longer is it a variable. I know exactly what it is. It's 5. So 2 times 5 plus 5. So 2 times 5, 10. And then 10 plus 5 is 15. So AC equals 15. All right, so we found AC now. We're good. All right, number 1. How long is RT?
How long is it?
Yep.
Don't you add?
Yeah, just add them. How long is RT?
4.5.
Yep. 4.5 centimeters. Okay, number 2. How long is BC? All right, so let's think about this like money, okay? So 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 is money. How much would that be? $2.75, right? And we need to get to $6, okay? So I've got $2.75. How much more money do I need to get to $6? Okay, if I had $4,
3 1/4.
good. It's going to be 3 1/4, right? How'd you do that?
3 plus 2 is 5, and it's like 75 cents. You get another quarter.
Good, exactly. Okay, good. So if you do it like this, okay, the $2 plus $3 is how much? $5. And then at 75 cents, how am I going to get to another dollar?
25
If you have 75 cents, how do you get to a dollar?
Another quarter.
You add another quarter, you add another 25 cents. So there gets you another dollar. So the 2 plus 3 is 5, and then the 3/4 and 1/4 get you another dollar. That gets you to the full $6 that you need right there. So that's it. Okay? All right, good. So on this one, number 3. Okay, so XZ. So let's think about money again. If you have $3.50 and you have 75 cents, $3.50 plus 75 cents. How much does that get you?
4.5.
Nearly. So you have $3.50 plus 75. Get you $4.25, right? Because $3.50 and then 3/4. I mean, obviously 3/4. So if you have $3.50 and you add 3 more quarters to that, that gets you to $4.25. Okay, then on number 4, the whole thing is 6. These little marks right here mean that it's congruent. Okay, so both of these are congruent. So that means x is the midpoint. So how long is wx?
3.
3. It's just half of that. Yep. Okay, on 5, 6, 7, and 8, I'm just going to work out number 5. The main thing is how do I draw what this is talking about right here? S is between R and T. That really ends up being what messes people up more than anything. So just good. So go ahead and draw a segment real quick. S is between R and T. So S is between R and T. We got 3 letters, R, S, and T. So of those 3 letters, which one of those letters is going to be somewhere in the middle? Is the S, right? Because it says S is between these two. So that means S is the one that's going to go somewhere out here in the middle. I don't know where. I'm just going to drop it in somewhere just like that. And that means the R and T go out on the edges. R and T on the outside, S is somewhere between them. All right, so now let's think about number 5 here. Okay, it says that RS, from R to S is how long?
5x.
Is 5x. So that's going to go right here between the R and S. R to S is 5x, so between R and S I put 5x. Okay, how far is it between S and T?
48.
Jumped right here. ST is how long? It's 3x. So really I didn't. Should have scooted the S over further this way, but we're good. And then the other part of that is it says that RT, so the whole thing from R to T is how long?
48.
Okay, good. So the whole thing from R all the way to T is 48. So all the way R all the way to T is going to be 48 units. Okay, so again, this should be pretty simple to set this up. How am I going to set up the equation here to find the value of x?
5x plus 3x equals 48.
Good. 5x plus 3x equals 48. RS plus ST equals RT.
Is that type of
Yeah, just put them together. Combine like terms first. So 5x, if you have 5 x's, 3 x's, put those together. How many x's do you have? 8 x's equals 48. Then what? Divide by 8. That way these 8's turn into a 1. You get 1x equals 6. X equals 6. Okay, so back up to here, x equals 6. But the other thing is I want to know how long RS is. Okay, so just going back to this, we got what we need right here. We've all that work right over here, we found x is 6. And the other thing it says is find RS. Okay, find RS. So I go back over here, RS is 5x.
30.
Good, now I know x is 6. So if I plug in 6 right there, 5 times 6 is
30.
30. Okay, number 9, determine whether these are congruent. I mean, there's nothing to this. AB and CD. So look at AB and CD. So here's AB. Okay, here's AB right here. And CD, that's this one right here. Are those two congruent?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we did all that yesterday. That should be pretty simple. So let's look on the back side. This first part we already did yesterday. This right here is going to be the new thing. But so on this first one, we want to know the length of AB. So A is at -4, B is at 2. Okay, good. So you can just count starting here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or just think about from -4 to +2. I mean, from -4 to 0 is 4, and then from 0 to 2 is another 2. So that's 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, now, something that we're throwing in today that we have not talked about yet, okay? But this is definitely something you would have done in Algebra 1. It's finding the distance between points like this that will be on a grid. So what I want you to do is right up above here, I want you to plot these 2 points, A and B, that are right here. I want you to plot those 2 points on this graph right here. Okay, so A is at -2, 1, so we start here. Here's the origin. This one's not centered up, but the origin's right there. So I'm going to go 1, 2, -2, and then down 1. I'm plotting this A right here. So we're at -2, -1. There's A. And then B is at 1, 3. So over 1, up 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3 is right here. And what I want to know now is how long this is. Okay, so on this one, can I count like this and say like, okay, from here to here, there's 1, there to there's 2, 3, 4 units. Can I count like that? No, of course, that's all messed up. Like here, it's easy to count. I mean, it's just laid out nice and neat. I can just count like that. Here, I cannot count like that. So what I've got to do is I'm going to use my distance formula. Now later this year, we'll do Pythagorean theorem instead of using distance formula, but for now I want to just use the distance formula, which really the distance formula comes from the Pythagorean theorem, but we're just going to plug these numbers in, okay? So let's label these. I need x1, y1, x2, y2. So this is going to be my x1 value. This is going to be my y1 value. Because this is the x value. A is like my first point. So I have my x value from my first point, and I have my y value from my first point. And then B is going to be my second point, so I'm going to have x2, y2. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take those 4 numbers, -2, -1, 1, and 3, and plug them into the distance formula. All right. So the first thing that goes in here is my x2 value. What is my x2 value?
1.
Right here. Okay, my x2 is 1. Now notice there's a minus built in, so I always put a minus. It doesn't matter what else, I'll always put a minus right there. And what's my x1 value? Right here is -2. Okay, all I'm doing is just doing this exactly, just plugging these numbers in here. Okay, what's my y2 value?
3.
It's 3. Okay, minus -1.
I thought you were supposed to turn it to a plus.
We will in just a second. So actually what I want you to do on this one is I want you to just go ahead and just plug this like this, exactly like that into your calculator. If you don't have a calculator, go ahead and grab it. You're definitely going to want to start grabbing it for sure. Jacob, would you grab one for Lizette real quick, please? I'll get it for you. Number 13. Lucky number, unlucky number 13.
I got this one.
I got 5.
Should be a whole number.
It's 5.
Make sure you put all the parentheses in just like that. Make sure you put in the negatives. Make sure you put in the squareds. All that kind of stuff. Make sure it gets in exactly like that. If you didn't get 5, go back and look and see why you look back and see where you messed up from not getting it the exact same as that.
No, we got it.
You got it now? All right.
It's negative 32.
Oh, yep. I'm going to come around and look at it in your calculator. Okay. There you go. Because that first one is not a negative one. It's a positive. Right there. Yep.
Oh. Oh, that's what you mean.
There you go. Oh yeah, that looks weird, but that's actually fine. The problem is right here. What in the world? It does not like that. That's crazy. I don't know what in the world is going on. Oh, because okay, good. All right, good. 5. I can barely see it. Okay.
Yeah, now you can see it.
Good. Good. Okay. All right, good. Good. And good. Okay. Now, as you look back up here, so what we're saying is that this right here is 5 units long. Okay. Now, like I said, and I'm not gonna talk about this much more here, but if you think about this real quick, if you make this into a right triangle right here, how long is this side of this triangle right here? How many units is that?
3.
It's 3. How long is this side over here?
4.
It's 4. And if you remember from 8th grade math, something like that, that's one of your standard Pythagorean triples, a 3, 4, 5. Okay, 3, 4, 5. So anyways, that's just makes sense that that's 5. All right, so let's drop down here. And I want you to find the length of those 8 real quick. Find BD, DG, all of those. Now be careful on these because this one's going back, this is just counting by ones. These are not counting by halves like we did on our warm-up. All right, so let's look at this. Number 1 asks for the length of BD. So BD, okay, if you think about these numbers down at the bottom here, where is D at?
Here.
At -1, right? Where is B at? -7. How far is it from -1 to -7? Yeah, it's 6 units, right? And again, I still saw a couple of you who were still thinking of this as being half units, right? This one's not half units. Every little mark that you move, it's just counting by one. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, number 2, DG.
Yards.
Okay, D is at -1 and G is at +8. So if you think about it, there's 1 here and then there's another 8. So it's 1 plus 8 gives you a total of 9 units from D to G. Okay, how long is AF? Is from -9 to +3, that's 12 units. Okay, how long is EF? 3. I mean, that one's real easy to see, right? E's at 0. Okay, E's at 0. F is at 3, so that's just 3 units. All right, how long is BG?
15.
Is -7 and +8, that's 15 units apart. AG
17.
is 17, good. BE
7.
is 7, and then DE
1.
is 1 unit. Okay, then the last one is like the distance formula stuff we just talked about. So we're not going to do all these. Don't worry. We're just going to do a couple of them. So we're going to have x1, y1, and then x2, y2. So let's plug this into our formula. So again, I'm going back up here, and I'm thinking about this formula right here. All right, so what's my x2 value? 6 minus, remember there's a minus built into the formula, so I'll always put a minus. So 6 minus what? 0 closed squared plus, inside here, what's my y2 value? 8 minus what's my y1 value? 0 closed squared.
Do we not put those little two?
Yes. It's not 48. There's other ways to do this. I mean,
I'm multiplier.
I prefer using Pythagorean theorem, think about it like that, but we're going to do it using this formula for now. Was it you that said is there easier way?
Yeah.
Do you remember Algebra 1 teacher teaching you the easier way? What was it? You remember?
I don't know, like a fraction.
Oh, you're thinking about slope. Yeah, this is something totally different than slope. This is finding out how far they are apart. What do you get?
2.
You get 10. That's what it should be. Okay, let's try number 10 real quick. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. And this is what ends up messing up people more than anything is how do you label it properly. Because what people will do is they'll do x1, x2, and they'll do y1, y2, and that's not right, okay? So make sure you're labeling it properly. All right, so when we plug this in, what's my x2 value? 3 minus, what's my x1? -2 squared plus, okay, y2 value is what? 15 minus the y1 value, 3. What'd you get, Isaiah?
13.
And 13 it is. Good job. Okay, I want you to try number 11.
You go.
All right, what'd you get, Jordan?
17.
Yep, and it is 17. So there should be minus and negative x there.
Oh, okay.
Or you can just change it to a plus. All right, we're going to get you started on your assignment.